Hey everyone, it's time for the very long overdue 4-year update on my 2015 Fiesta ST. As you can see, I have my coat on, so it's obviously not August when I originally bought the car. So, like I said, a little long overdue, so let's go ahead and get started. So, got 44,000 miles on the car so far, so I'm averaging about 11,000 miles a year. Let's talk about some of the new things that I've done since the last update video. We have the Mountune intercooler, which worked fantastic in the hottest summer that I've ever experienced since owning the car. No issues at all. I take it off in the winter because the intercooler will get pretty beat up from rocks and salt, sand, and everything else that goes on the roads in the winter. So I will be swapping that out here shortly for the factory one, which when it's 5 degrees outside, do you think I really need an upgraded intercooler? Absolutely not. But the temperatures were above 90 degrees this summer that we had for quite a while. The Mountune intercooler did great. No issues at all with water temp or oil temp, so it doesn't block the radiator at all, causing any overheating issues. So no issues there. Another one of the changes we made, I put the Mountune front splitter on, which I also just run in the summer. I don't run it in the winter. Obviously no real performance change with that, just an appearance, which I've been pretty happy with. We have, let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I know. We have the Hawk 5.0 brake pads and the StopTech Slotted rotors. Both work very well. Very happy with both of those. About 36 to 40,000 mile range is about the limit for the factory rotors and pads. In fact, I saved my old rotors, my factory rotors, and I plan to just do a slight turn on them just to clean up some of the corrosion and grooves in them and use them in the winter. But they actually became so worn out in just 3 years of driving that I couldn't turn them and use them for the winter, so I'm buying another set. I don't want to run the slotted rotors in the winter, and I don't want to get rust in the slots. The Hawk pads, they have been working fantastic. I've had them on for a little over a year now. No issues whatsoever. A lot less brake dust, a little less initial bite, but overall braking performance is very similar to what the stock pads are. The big thing for me with my white wheels is to not have as much brake dust, but not give up that much performance. And for a car that pretty much goes back and forth to work all day long, or during the week, I don't really need a really ultra competitive brake pad. I didn't even make it to an autocross this year. I didn't make it to a track event. But for street use, the Hawk 5.0 pads were great. StopTech rotors also work great. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates I've really done to the car. I don't really think of anything. You're kind of getting to the point now where the car is really at the point where I've always wanted it to be. I'm kind of running out of stuff to do to it. That's not a bad thing, but it just means that instead of constantly upgrading the car, I'm really more into the maintaining it and just keeping it as long as I can. Michigan winters, of course, are brutal on the cars. So far, I'm not seeing really too much evidence of any damage from the winter. Besides the front bumper's pretty well chipped up. That's going to be a real tough one to try to fix. Eventually, I'm just going to probably have to repaint the bumper cover. Normally, about this time, about the 5-year mark, I start looking at what do I want to buy for a replacement vehicle. And I'll tell you what, there is nothing on the market today that has me interested as much as my Fiesta ST does today. I'm just not seeing anything. As automakers begin to get rid of cars and move towards trucks and SUVs, I'm not interested in what's out there. So I don't know what I'll buy next, but that really doesn't bother me since I absolutely love this car. 4 years with it, I am not tired of it whatsoever. I just love it. Every time I drive it, every time I look at it, when I wash it, I go out in the garage and I see it. Every time I come across the car, I just love it. So pretty happy with the Fiesta so far. If you've been following the news at all, you know that 2019 is the final year for the Fiesta. So it's very sad for someone who worked so hard during the Fiesta movement, both the first one and the second one, to promote the vehicle, to see it come to an end. It's very sad. Really pretty heartbroken that the Fiesta is going to be done. But that gives you still another opportunity. You have until next year, 2019, to buy one of these awesome cars and experience how great it is before they are gone forever. And I've had this discussion online before. I don't ever see the Fiesta coming back. I really don't ever see the Focus coming back. I really don't even see any cars coming back for quite a long time. So if you like cars, you like performance cars, you like cars you can drive yourself, you like manual transmissions, you love all the turbo noises that you get with a turbocharged car, you love an outstanding handling small car, then you really have a little over a year left before these are all gone. So I encourage you to get out there and buy one before they are gone. As for maintenance issues, how reliable has the car been? The only issue I've had was a stuck rear caliper, and that was about the 30,000 mile mark. And so I ordered up a brand new caliper because the guide pin got seized in there. It doesn't look like that it was lubed from the factory for whatever reason. The pin was dry in the caliper. So swap that out. All the rest of the calipers have been fine. There's not been a single mechanical problem with this car at all. Even with all the modifications I've done to it, I have no problems whatsoever. You know, you read online of all these weird quirks that people have, and I'm like, I don't have any of those. And the car is just perfect. In fact, the only thing I'd say is kind of a weird like noise or rattle that I've got with the car was on a really hot day, like when it was like 98 degrees outside and the car sat in the direct sun. My driver's door had the most horrendous creak to it that sounded like an old sailing ship. And then by the time I drove home and the car was sitting in the shade, you know, or the sun was on the opposite side of the car, the noise completely went away. And I think that noise only appeared like 3 times this year. And you know, just when the temperature was really hot. That's been the only really odd noise I've had. The shifter, now that the temperature is starting to get colder outside, where it's only about 40 degrees outside, I do get a little bit of squeak with the shifter bushings, which is a pretty easy fix. I'll just put a little lubricant on that and be done. In fact, it probably will go away in the summer again. Cars will go through that with temperature changes. You start to get noises that come and go with different temperatures. So, but overall, the car has been absolutely flawless. I have no complaints about the car whatsoever. It's definitely one that I would encourage you to go buy. What an amazing value to have this much performance, this many features in a small car. Tell you what, I priced out some other vehicles to get some of the features you have on a Fiesta ST. You're going to be spending double that. You're going to spend $45,000-$50,000 on a gigantic SUV, and it's still not going to be as much fun to drive as this. So that's why take the opportunity to go buy one of these things before they're gone forever, and you won't have an opportunity to. I have had no problems with mine, so that's why I'm still such a huge fan of it, and it makes me smile every time I get in the car. So no complaints after 4 years, no major issues after 4 years. I'm looking forward to even more time with it in the future. So we'll check back in after the next update. I'll probably maybe even try to do an update over the winter, because I bet I'll hit 50,000 miles over this winter. So I'll give an update at that, which is hard to believe. I've had this car for 50,000 miles, but it's going to happen shortly. I almost guarantee it. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as usual, and I'll try to be as responsive as I can with all my responses. And if there's a video of anything you really like to see, just drop me a line in the comment section, and I'll try to get that made. So thanks everybody.